Let's talk about artificial intelligence. It's no longer the stuff of sci-fi movies and has in fact entered our everyday life. Now, a University of Stellenbosch study has found that it can actually improve service delivery. But could bureaucrats and the endless red tape be replaced by decisions that require machine learning algorithms? Let's find out. Jan Hofmeyr, University of Stellenbosch's Future Studies program. I mean, just how realistic is this, Jan? Good morning to you.
Good morning, Gareth. It's wonderful to join you. Yeah, so I think maybe the backdrop to the study is the following, and that is that this year we're celebrating 25 years of our Constitution, and two things in our Constitution are quite pertinent. In its preamble, it recognizes gross inequalities and poverty as a legacy of apartheid. Secondly, it says it aims to address these inequalities and these legacies through a system of democratic governance. Now, what we do know is that over the years, many South Africans have become unhappy about the pace at which service delivery is taking place, to the extent that we see in some public opinion surveys that some people say that they are willing to waiver their democratic rights in return for an acceleration in service delivery. So one has to start looking around at how we can accelerate service delivery, and artificial intelligence provides one of those avenues. But of course, as we also know, and much is also written about it in the last couple of years, there are some grey areas in the adoption of artificial intelligence. More broadly, as our physical and our digital lives become increasingly intertwined, they have implications for questions around privacy, transparency, and accountability. So my research largely grapples with these questions. How do you take the spirit and values of a democratic constitution, which recognizes these inherited legacies, take it into the digital era, but do not violate our most basic and fundamental democratic values.
And just practically, where could this be rolled out? When we talk about service delivery, Jan, I mean, how long is a piece of string? It could be water issues, it could be power issues, it could be SASA issues. I mean, we can't fix everything all in one day. Of course, we'd all love to. But where do you see the first application of this coming into effect to make a difference on the ground to people who need it?
Right. I think the opportunities are limitless. I think one area that you've just spoken about before this insert has been in the area of health, to get a good sort of diagnostic, for example, where and how COVID is spreading, where government has to direct its resources to, for example, where do we need equipment. That's one area. I think maybe at a more basic level, I think imagine, if we had a real-time system within Home Affairs where every day we have an idea of how many people are being born, how many people die, how many people come through our borders, and the implications that would have for planning in government as far as schools, universities are concerned, the extension of grants to old people, for example, and the ways in which that can improve efficiency and also counter corruption and maladministration.
I can hear everyone watching at home, Jan, going, Gareth, ask about the driving license centres. Ask about the driving license centres. Ask Jan. But I know you're going to tell me yes, because it's essentially what we're talking about. Jan, I have about a minute with you before I say goodbye to you. Let's talk about jobs. And I'm sure this is something that you would have thought about. With artificial intelligence, just like mechanization, comes the concern people are going to lose their jobs because machines can now do it. Is that something that you're concerned about? Because it's going to be a concern to those who need the income from their jobs.
Of course, machine learning is a mega trend, and South Africa, like many other countries, sort of will have to catch up in that regard. My preferred scenario that I come to as a conclusion is one where government uses artificial intelligence to create agency for South Africans. An agency, I mean, in terms of access to things like licensing for people to start their own businesses, access to education, etc. So whereas artificial intelligence have got the potential to obliterate some jobs, it also opens up some doors in terms of access to more economic opportunity.
Well, I appreciate this. Jan, from me and all of South Africa, if you can speed up the driving license renewal queues, I will buy you the most expensive bottle of whiskey that my manager can afford. Jan, thank you very much for speaking to us this morning. It's Jan Hofmeyr, University of Stellenbosch. What an incredible idea. Just imagine we could get that right. What that'll do, A, for COVID, the health sector as well, and also education. Just imagine the difference it could make.